Hey, 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 what's up? What's up, people? It is Hot Take Tuesday on a Wednesday, and I am your host, Lisa. And we're going to be talking about the movie Tenet today with the Christopher Nolan 2020 spy thriller with one of my guests all the way from the UK, hence the early 4 p.m. live. And that is Luke. We're going to wait patiently for Luke to come on. Hey, Josie, I see you. Me and my special guest today, we're going to be talking about the movie Tenet, the Christopher Nolan film. Lots of thoughts, lots of thoughts. So, I see you, Luke. Just waiting for you to request to join. Perfect. Miss you, Josie.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey, how are you?
Good. Why? Wait. All
What?
I'm getting is, all I'm getting is a black screen.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, let's try and
Oh, wait, wait. I see. Oh, hold on. I see you now. I see you now.
okay, he's here now.
All right.
Okay, that's good.
Woo! Okay, okay.
We are
Welcome.
back.
Welcome.
We are
Yes,
back.
yes.
Again, this is my third live now with you.
Yeah,
That's
you can't help
crazy.
yourself. Listen, once you start, you can't stop. That's it.
No, that's what everyone tells me of all the tattoos I have. It's an addiction.
I only have one tattoo.
Really, where? Of what?
Uh, left ankle.
Okay, of what? Is it of me?
No, it's the next one I'm getting.
Okay. I'll hold you to that.
Yeah. No, it's just above roses. It's the roses on the
Okay.
vine. It's like a
Okay.
symbol. So
Nice. No,
something
I'm
I
literally
knew I wanted when I was 16, but I was like, I'm also 16. Let me wait and see. So I waited all the way till I think my very, very, very early 30s, and then I got it.
Oh
I'm
wow,
patient.
okay. Well, yeah, clearly.
I
Yeah, I
wanted to
mean,
make sure it wasn't a fad for me.
well, I'm literally like covered in them at this point now. So yeah,
Yeah, I saw a post, a picture I think where you had just gotten one or were showing one off or
uh,
something.
that was a new one. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I mean, we I've got them obviously on my face, obviously, my neck, hands, fingers, arms, legs,
Wait,
you name
wait,
it.
you got neck tattoo?
Yeah, I've got
Oh,
I don't know if you can see.
man, I missed
Got
that
the
one.
scorpion,
Okay.
yeah, and then I've also got I don't know if you can see the stars on
Ah,
that side as well.
yes.
And then obviously I've got my hands,
Yeah.
this hand, so yeah, covered. And then obviously the little face ones as well.
Oh, okay. Okay. Um,
A
I
lot of
think,
people always say to me that whenever I meet new people, they always say like, "Have you been in prison or something?" I'm like, "No."
yeah, I mean, prison has the monopoly on the
Hmm.
stereotype for tattoos. That's normally a thing, but
Yes.
yeah, so I get it. I get it. So today for Hot Take Tuesday, Wednesday live on a Tuesday, on Wednesday, we are here with my good friend Luke from the UK. Where in the UK exactly are you?
Well, I mean, will you know if I tell you?
No,
Um,
right?
no, well, I mean, it's a small town. I mean, it's about it's probably about 30 to 45 minutes away from London,
Okay.
so it's not far from London. But yeah, it's a small little town. Yeah, I mean, like I reckon if I said the name of the town, it wouldn't mean anything to you because it's not like, it
But
isn't
but I
London.
can always look it up. I can always look it up and research it. That's all right. You know what? You can tell me later. You can tell me later. You can tell me later.
Whereabouts are you? You're Florida, aren't you?
Yeah, South Florida, all the way
Nice.
south.
I
So I'm about 45 minutes ish north of Miami. So
okay. Hmm.
yeah. If
I've
that
never
helps.
been to America at all.
It's pretty big.
You
I
think?
yeah.
I'd
I honestly,
love to go to America.
I didn't realize like, it was funny for me. I always thought that the UK was so huge, and then when I like was I was like, oh, okay, it's not as big as I thought it was. That makes sense. Why like I hear them. Oh, we're gonna go here this day, here, then here, then here, then here. And I'm like, oh wow, takes me like 3 days just to go all the way up to North.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like the UK, it is big. Obviously, I mean, I haven't been to every part of the UK, of course.
Hmm.
I mean, obviously, I'm down south of England, so it's as I said, it's closest to London. So
Yeah,
so I'm not up north like Scotland area. So yeah,
one day I will visit as well. I do want to
one
visit
day
the UK one day. One day.
I'll hold you to
Yes, yes, sir. You'll be the first person I'll let know.
that.
All
That's
right.
good to know.
So here we are. Let's dive into Tenet, the Christopher
Yes,
Nolan film.
what a
I know
film.
you were itching for this one. You couldn't wait. So I I have no idea how you feel about this movie. I don't. I really don't. So let's start with just a general feeling for the movie before we dive into deeper details. And go.
Well, I definitely feel something about it. I
Ah!
mean, like it's such a bizarre film. Like it really is something. There is not a single film like it. I've never seen a film like that. It's so weird and so clever at the same time, and such an achievement in filmmaking to do those things.
Mm-hmm.
That it's impressive. I'm a huge Christopher Nolan fan. He's one of my favorite directors. I don't love all of his films.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be honest. But Tenet, I don't love it, but it is a film that I respect, and it's not a film that I hate. So our chat will actually be me more likely praising it than like savaging it. Like this is probably the
Ooh.
first time,
Yeah.
like of our previous two
Yes.
um, Hot Take Tuesdays, but on a Wednesday. We had the Matrix that I roasted, the Hunger Games I roasted, whereas with this one, I'm actually quite positive on it. Like, I'll give it quite a high score, to be honest. I have some issues with it, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I do think, I'll say this before we get into it, but I'll say this that I don't think it's as complicated as people think it is. I think it's quite a straightforward plot.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's very simple, but the way that it is executed and the way that it is done is very complicated. Like it's like Christopher Nolan is like it's almost like it's unnecessarily complicated.
Complicated.
I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I'll say.
Okay, which kind of like segues into the hot take that I did on it, where I said how much I enjoyed the movie. I just wish I didn't feel so stupid while watching it.
Yeah.
So it was
I mean, I
kind of like
definitely felt like that on the
yeah,
first
like
time. Definitely,
every
of
time I
course.
thought I had it, like I would think of something else or something would happen. I'm like, oh wait, hold
Hmm.
on, hold on, hold on. I had like, okay, wait. And that's kind of how it was. But I agree with you. Like it on the surface, it kind of is simplistic, and there's all these extra things that make it more complicated. So
Hmm.
it's like it's this way of saying, well, and I think that's why it's also impressive that instead of calling it time travel and doing the normal time travel tropes, it was inverted. And if you're going
Which
back in
already
time,
sounds complicated, doesn't it?
yeah.
Like as soon as like it is time travel, but they never say it's time travel. It's just it's inverted and turns. They use turnstiles and all that, and it's like all that when all the characters are speaking in this language, it's like, wait a minute, what does that mean? Kind of thing. It's constantly like that,
Hmm.
but obviously the story is based on time travel, in the future and stuff. So
Yeah.
it is simple, but just the way that it is done is just so complicated and just so like it's like Christopher Nolan was just I think what I'll say, I think to sum it up, I would say that I don't think it's Christopher Nolan at his best, but I do think it is Christopher Nolan at his most. That's what I would say.
Oh, okay. Christopher Nolan at his most. Um,
Yeah,
that
I
makes
think it
sense.
represents I think it represents the best and worst qualities of him.
So that makes sense to me because technically his second film, Memento,
Hmm.
was in a way, it was that it was the movie was back was you got the end to the beginning versus the beginning to the end, but it
Yes.
was inside the mind of this character, so you followed them, um, and
Another film that is one of a kind. There's
yeah,
no films like that.
yeah,
Or Inception is another one.
correct,
It's you've never seen a film like that, and we probably will never see a film like that unless it's some bad rip-off or something like that, you know.
yeah. Gemma says it's so interesting, and I agree.
No, I can't see Gemma's
Well,
comments. I didn't
she
I didn't see her comments last time.
she well she's writing it in a question, like it says tap a question to answer. So she has a, you know what? Let me, how do I actually don't know how.
Oh, yeah, it's just come up on my screen now. The
Oh,
question.
okay.
But it hasn't. It's not on the main comments. I don't
Got it.
think.
Got it. Yeah, I think it's some new live feature they have now, so I can't keep up. But
Oh
thank you,
yeah, I can.
Gemma.
Oh yeah, I can see now. It's a little bit different. Oh, yeah,
Yes, yes.
cool.
Oh, so Gemma says, "What is your favorite Nolan movie?" I figure, you know what? I guess we might as well uh answer that question right now, real quick.
For me, I think it's an easy one for me, and it will. I think it will always. Can you guess what it is?
I think you answered it. Did you not? I
I
put
did
out a
answer.
poll.
I did answer it in the poll. Yeah.
That I'm gonna guess. Wait, was it The Dark Knight?
Yes. Always. It's always. I mean, you know. I mean, that was the first Nolan film I saw.
Mm-hmm.
It's my favorite superhero film of all time. It's one of my favorite films
Mm.
of all time, and I don't think any superhero film has matched that quality, in my opinion. So that's 100% my favorite Nolan film.
I think I'm gonna have to agree on the on the superhero match thing. As far as if we're
Hmm.
talking about the most grounded, interesting, dark characters, I agree with you, hands down. It's blowing everyone else away, even Marvel. Um,
Yeah.
so
I mean, that's not saying much with Marvel at the moment, is it?
well, there is some good ones within Marvel that I would say that like are strong contenders. Like for instance, honestly, Blade. I feel like Blade's a good contender. It's just a different. It's just not.
Hmm.
It's not rooted in reality. Um,
I mean, I
but yeah.
guess I was talking more about the recent Marvel MCU films. That is a very
Oh,
low quality, I think.
oh no, yeah, no, we're not.
Hmm.
We're not talking about those.
No,
No, that's not fair. That's not a fair comparison.
no,
It's a little different right now.
it's definitely not.
So I think that I'm going to say The Dark Knight is the one that I've watched the most,
Yeah.
and have fully enjoyed. And you know what? I honestly, a close second for me, The Prestige. I will say it. That one is a really
I
good
had a
one.
feeling you was going to pick that one. Actually, I had a feeling it was going to be one that maybe doesn't get as much attention, and that's how I thought. Maybe it's the Prestige, and I was right. So
Well, I love a good twist I didn't see coming. Um,
yeah.
and then just and then this like just the way they explore the bitterness, the hatred, and how it grows and grows and like breaks them apart. And Hugh Jackman's character is so consumed
Oh
by
yeah,
it
hundred
that
percent.
it destroys him in
I've
the
only
end.
ever seen it once, which was couple of years ago. I never saw it at the cinema, and I thought it was brilliant. I thought it was definitely one of his best films. I think it's quite underrated. I want to
Yes.
see it again. I need to see it again. But from what I can remember, it was very good.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And then, oh yeah, Gemma also loves the Prestige. Prestige. Okay,
but
so
but I think
right,
the thing with Tenet, though, I mean, a lot of people seem to hate that film, though. Yeah, a
Tenet.
lot of people, yeah, like a lot of people I know seem to think that is his worst film. It's not very good. It's too complicated and all that. Like, it seems to get quite a lot of hate, to be honest.
Okay, so I will be honest. I haven't watched Dunkirk and I haven't watched The Following, so I don't know. And then Followings is the first film out, so I know it's fair to even put that, in a comparison. I haven't stopped to think about what my least. I don't even know if I could say if I call it worst film, like my least favorite film, because I
Hmm.
don't feel like he's made a worse film, like a bad film. So for me, it's like my least favorite film is probably a better thing to say about it. And this might be my least favorite film of his, but most that's because everything else that I've seen from him is so much stronger and better.
Yeah, which is fair. I mean, I'd say my least favorite is Oppenheimer. That's my
Oh
bit of a
right,
hot take.
I haven't seen Oppenheimer either, so
Hmm.
I need to
Yeah,
watch. I
I
need to
just
watch those three.
I didn't really understand the hype for that one,
Mm.
but so that's my least favorite. But with Tenet though, I mean, obviously, I saw it obviously at the cinema, and obviously, the funny thing is, it's like right from the start, like from the very beginning of the film, that that is probably one of my main criticisms. Is there's literally right at the beginning of the film, it's almost like what is going on right now. Like there's an opera scene, and then obviously John David Washington, and obviously like the SWAT officers, the police, or
Well,
they're all coming in,
but
and it's just like what
but
is
what's funny
going
is
on
what you
right
don't
now?
like is what I love about the film. I love that we jumped right in, like we didn't even like. I'm talking about the conductor barely gets a note off, barely gets a note off,
Yeah,
and
and
being
he just gets
and
shot straight away.
sorry. And my heart was hurting a little bit when they were destroying the instruments. I was like, that's so unnecessary. Okay, I used to play the viola, so I'm always, team orchestra, and I'm just like, you didn't have to do that. They were already down. You didn't have to destroy the instrument.
That's definitely one of my least favorite aspects of the film. It's just like right from the beginning, it feels like the middle of the film. Like it's like we've missed an hour before we get to this, and
Mm.
then we just jump straight into it. And it's like, right, okay, so obviously there's bullets like flying in the air a little bit,
Mhm.
and then obviously there's someone with that red tag at their out on their back of their bag, and it's like okay, and then and then there's obviously they're trying to get this guy, and it turns out it's not that guy, and then the people who they were with in the van then shoot the main character, and then he gets tortured. It's like what is going on right now? I feel like I've just missed an hour of this film, and it hasn't even started.
But the ironic thing about that, Luke, is that it sets the tone because you will feel
It
like
definitely
through the
does.
whole movie you've missed something. So
Yeah,
it sets the tone.
that's just always something that, like, as I said, I do like this film, but
Hmm.
that is one aspect. That's one of the few aspects of this film that I just cannot. Um, I just can't like find a positive in that. It's very frustrating. And
Um,
then obviously, like when they torture him, and there's
uh-huh.
another bit, another bit that kind of irritates me. It was, obviously they torture him and they pull his teeth out. But then when he's in the hospital bed, he wakes up and his teeth all back to
All
normal and
right.
he's fine.
I'm so glad you said that. I got something to say about that. Gemma says my least favorite one is The Dark Knight Rises. Sorry, Luke. Ooh,
Ah,
interesting.
I
Interesting.
love that one. I love that
Interesting.
one. I do. I really do.
So, um, so okay. So the funny thing is, right? They're like, they told him that they already like fixed his mouth. So whatever damage
Yes,
was
they
done, they
did,
fixed it.
but
So
still,
as someone who has had an implant, in the back of my teeth, whatever. Um, that takes months to set the groundwork and put an
Oh
implant
yeah,
in. So I felt,
definitely. I can
I
imagine.
mean, I know it's a movie, but I was just like, come on, how long is
I
it?
thought it was I
Was
thought
out
it
for
was very
6 months.
stupid. I
Yeah,
thought it was very stupid.
not necessary.
Um,
Not
and then
necessary.
I think just like I think like probably like the first half an hour, it does kind of annoy me a bit, to be honest.
Mm,
And then obviously when he wakes up in the hospital, he has that government guy, the Tenet agent, and then obviously just straight away he's just like, oh, it was all a test and stuff, and obviously you passed the test, and it was like, what kind of audition interview is this? I mean, like, what kind of job interview you get kidnapped and have your teeth uh, taken out? Like, what kind of job interview is this? You know?
so the orchestra part was the real thing, but then him being
Yeah,
tortured, that was the test.
yeah. And what a test that was.
Yeah, yeah,
I,
yeah.
I just thought that was very, very silly, and I kind of thought I don't understand how he's okay with this, and then obviously they're like, we need you,
Yeah,
to stop
yeah,
this Cold
yeah.
War, a World War III, and then he's like, all right, yeah, cool, I'll do it. And it's just like there's no questions, like, who are you? Why me?
Hmm.
It's just, it's just all of that is very frustrating. It's just like, oh God, it's just like, are we really? We're literally just going to go straight into it, and they do. And I just don't know what it is about that. But every time I watch it, like I literally watched it again, literally yesterday, just to like refresh myself, and still the first 30 to 45 minutes, it still does my head in.
Yeah. Oh, I see. What's it good and pre X and Y. We're talking about Tenet. So yes. Okay. It's funny you say that because I think I wrote down somewhere at the 48-minute mark. I was like, I think I got it, but I don't think I got it. I literally said that. I was like, well, I think I got it, but I don't think I got it. Like
I
it
mean,
was
I
just,
mean that's, I mean that's the thing, though, isn't it? I mean, like, it the inverted part of the film doesn't really come until the halfway point, but it's confusing right from the very beginning of the film.
mhm.
Without the time travel, it's still confusing because we don't know anything. We don't really know what the motivations are for the characters. We don't really know what is Tenet, or
Mhm.
anything like that, and then obviously he just gets sent on his mission. As I said, no questions asked, and
No
then he meets the
directive,
scientist,
no
and then
directive
obviously meet
outside of Tenet.
literally, and it's just like, how vague is this? And
I'll
it's
tell
just,
you, I'll tell you how vague it is. His name is protagonist.
yeah,
That's how vague
that's
it
another
is.
that's another one. That is another one. I mean, it doesn't bother me as much as some people get a little bit bothered by that.
No,
But
I
like,
thought it was funny.
yeah, it was funny and it was different. But like, it's that's the thing. We never really know anything about him. Literally from the beginning of the film to the end of the film, he is literally just an agent, and he's going to save the world. And he has nothing else about him. That's it. That is his character, and and I guess, and I think with that scientist lady, she was, I can't remember what the quote was, that she said to him. She was like, we don't reveal anything um, about ourselves. I can't
Yeah.
remember what it was. It's something like that.
Yeah.
And that is literally the definition of the whole film, because no one reveals anything. So
No.
literally no one. And it's just like, it does feel almost like it's like season 4 of a TV show that we haven't watched.
You know what?
That's kind of what it feels like.
I'm looking here and I don't. No one even has a last name in this movie. There's Sater, there's
Apart from,
Cat, Neil. No one even has a last name in this movie, which is funny. Um,
and
and
obviously the science lady, when she explains, you know, the
yeah,
inverting of the bullets,
yeah.
like, obviously this is a big scene,
Hmm.
because obviously this is the first time we know about this stuff, and she explains it in a very vague sense. But even that scene, there's no reaction from the protagonist. He's just
Okay.
like, oh, right, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
that's fine.
okay. That's what
It's
I was like.
it's
Everyone
just
seems to be real cool with time travel really fast.
that that was one of my criticisms I even said in my own review, is that how is every single character okay with everything that is going on? Just everything. There's not, even the characters that aren't, a member of Tenet, like the female character, Kat, like she doesn't know any of this stuff, and she still just goes along with it. It's
Yeah,
you know, it's just
yeah.
it's
And
just so bizarre.
and guys, I know it doesn't sound like it, but we actually both love this film. So we're just
We
pointing out the things
do.
that like kind of stick out to
We
us.
do.
So the funny thing is when Kat is with Neil in the truck and she's like being injured, and protagonist John tells her, oh, let him explain it to you. He knows more than I do, and he walks away as Neil starts to explain it to her. So we don't even get that explanation. It's a cutaway. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
that would have been okay. Never
Well, I
mind.
would have liked to have,
I would have.
I'd like to have been there for that.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, and then obviously another thing that I think that my
Mm,
biggest issue with the film is there's a little subplot in the film. I don't
mm.
know why they've got it. You probably know what I'm going to say. The painting.
Oh, okay.
That
Yes.
really,
Yes.
really does annoy me. It's so convoluted, and
It
it's just,
doesn't need to be, but yes.
and I mean, the thing with the film is that the whole film is that we have to go here to meet this person, and then that person will reveal something. Then we've got to go to this person. Then we got to go to the airport to destroy the painting. Then we got to go to Satan and meet him. Then we got to get this artifact. It's just one thing after another. Like, it's just so many plot devices throughout the whole film. Even right up until the end, it's just like, oh, now we've got to go here now. It's just, oh,
What is it? Chekhov's the
it's just like a never-ending
yeah.
checklist, and it's just like it's a very clever film, but just the way that it's all structured and scripted, it's just it's quite tedious. It's just like, oh, where are we going now? Oh, we're going here. Oh, to get this. Oh, right, where are we going now? Oh, we're
But
going
you
over
know
here
what?
now.
You know what? But you know what? Think about this. Time travel inversion on its own is probably is tedious. Going back is probably tedious. So I will give it that. And I guess that was one of the ways to kind of find that bump in the road for him, which was Kat, her and
Hmm.
her son. We needed that because without them, it would have been a smash and grab. Honest, technically, you know what I mean?
But
Like like there.
did they need the painting subplot? I mean, what a stupid subplot that is, though. I mean, oh, so she obviously was seeing this uh forger, a Rapo, I think his name was,
Mm,
and then obviously she obviously bought this painting, and obviously it was forged, and then obviously Sato obviously knew about it, and then he then blackmailed her about it and kind of said that, if you leave me, then I'm going to go to the police and tell them that you forged this painting. But it's just like, and then he locks it away in an airport uh, box thing, safety deposit box, and then the airport has got like gas and stuff.
mhm.
Like, only has a 10-second warning before the gas goes. It's just like, this is so complicated.
But they make it look so fun though. But oh, and you know what? Like honestly, that's where we get to have all these fun like inverted fights and things like that, and like stuff going back and
Yeah, I
forth.
mean, the inverted fights are they're quite something to behold. Like,
Yes,
it's just, I can remember watching it for the first
right.
time,
He definitely.
and obviously
Yeah.
it's
Sorry.
that's right. And I was just gonna say, like, I remember watching it for the first time, and obviously, like, and then obviously he's like gliding on the floor to kind of go that way, kind of thing. And I thought, this is so weird, and it's just like, and I kept thinking, like, how did they film this? Like, how did they actually do that? Like,
Um,
it's so many times during the film, with the cars kind of flipping and going backwards, buildings exploding and then reassembling. I thought, how did they do that?
So, um, what I can say, because I looked into some of that, because I was, I'm like, I was in awe. I'm like, like,
Hmm.
even if the movie was garbage, which it wasn't, the the care that was put into the innovation and the new stuff was groundbreaking. You know,
Yeah,
um,
100%.
so I looked into it, and so here's what they did. As far as for like the fighting choreography, well, hold on. So they had a whole team of people in scenes who were running backwards, and they would often end up being the ones running forwards because they would reverse the footage. Um, and they had stunt coordinators who would film themselves doing something, and then they would like reverse it and watch the video to learn how the movement, the weight of the body, and the timing, so they can kind of like get it going. And then for the car crash scene, they rebuilt cars to drive backwards, and they had a driver in the back facing backwards. So that's how they were able to do those. Now the building stuff I didn't look into too much. I didn't look into that. I imagine that is probably CGI. Like what I mean is they actually did the blowing up and all other stuff. They filmed that, and then they probably filmed the person right there separately, and then put it two together. I feel like that's probably what might have happened. I don't
Yeah,
know, but
yeah,
you know,
definitely. I mean, it's definitely. I've never seen anything like that before.
nothing in this
You
felt
know,
like bad CGI. I'll tell you that much.
no, and
Nothing in
100%. And obviously, a lot of it, like you said, it was filmed using practical effects and
it.
practical stunt work,
Yeah.
which is quite which is quite a rare
Yes.
thing in modern Hollywood these days. So that was
Unfortunately.
refreshing.
Yeah.
So I respected that.
Hmm.
Um, and I mean, like, it's got a great cast, of course,
Hmm.
even though all the characters are very thinly written, I think there's some good performances in there. I think
Oh yeah.
I'd say probably the character
I think
with the best performance
Cat.
and a character, yes,
Yes.
100%. I think
Oh
she's
my
easily
God.
the best character in the whole film, and
100%.
she's the only character that I cared about. Whereas with everyone else, I didn't really care about them. But with her, straight away, like, they said about her story that she gets abused by her husband. It's like straight away, it's like, okay, this is quite compelling stuff. And there's some scenes, obviously, where he's like abusing her and
Hmm.
shouting at her and stuff like that. All that was great scenes. I thought that was really good stuff. I'd like to have
Yeah.
saw more of that, to be honest.
So what's funny about that, like going back real quick to the painting. So the one thing about the painting that threw me off a little bit was it was like he has this painting hanging over her head, and that's what's keeping her in check.
Hmm.
And I'm like, so the painting is keeping her in check, not the dozens of gun armed men that you have that will do whatever you want.
Well, yeah. I mean,
I mean,
I still don't understand why, like, I mean, she's clearly scared of him. She wants to keep her son. I mean, surely she can't, like, go to the CIA or something, or the police, and just, and ask for some protection or so. I don't know, but like, I don't know. It's just like the way they set that up, and it's like, oh, that's his hold over her. It's like, what, a painting.
I,
I mean, he's done far worse things
yes,
than she has with just forging a painting.
yeah.
Like, it's like, I don't know. I just kind of felt like surely she could have done a little bit more to kind of get herself out of the relationship.
Um,
But
look,
obviously at the same
apparently,
time,
apparently, you and I don't have a true appreciation for how serious they take art forgery in this world because
well, yeah, I mean, it's like that is like the biggest crime. Like World War Three, that's not really a big thing, but
mm,
it's forging a
hmm,
painting that's serious. That's
hmm.
5 stars. That's 5 stars on GTA, basically.
So I'm gonna ask you a question. And I don't know if I'm the only one who does this, but like when you're watching a movie, right, and a scene like the paintings come up and they have to hold their breath through the thing, do you subconsciously hold your breath to see how long you could do it while they're doing it? Or
No,
is that just me?
no, I never do that. No, I mean, well, no, basically.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, did you hold your breath when Tom Cruise had to go underwater for like 4 minutes? Did you just go and
No,
run a bath or something and
no.
just put
'Cause
your head underwater for
I
four
already knew that
minutes?
I was gonna drown. I already knew I was gonna drown. I didn't even try it. And I like tried to see how long I could hold my breath, and it I'm tapped out at 40 seconds. I'm in trouble. I'm in trouble.
I
I need to
can't even make 10.
I need to I need to do something. I need to at least be able to do a minute.
Yeah, it's
So
crazy, really.
I'll be working on that.
But but yeah, I mean, well, what did you think of Sata as a villain?
Um oh
Good old Kenneth Branagh.
I think he was a great villain. Like honestly, like I think he did a great job. And I was only confused by the amount of restraint he had for Kat. That's where I was confused about. There were a couple times I was like, oh, maybe he does kind of love her in his own weird way because he lets her get away
Hmm.
with a lot of stuff before he gets to the point where he's like, all right, now you gotta go down. Like I
He's an interesting character.
yeah,
Um, I think his scenes with Kat are the best
mm,
scenes with his character.
yeah.
Um, um, like yeah, I mean he's a very he's a very tense guy, and obviously he kind of reminds me. Um, I mean it's quite. I mean he doesn't even look like Kenneth Branagh. Like he looks so different in the film. I'm not gonna
No,
lie.
same. I was like, wait. I was like, oh my gosh, that's that guy. Like he transformed to me between the look and how the performance. I was like, whoa. I
I
was
agree.
blown away.
Yeah, there's another one scene that I never really liked is that when they are doing the sailing, and she obviously undoes his
Yeah,
harness and then pushes him off the boat. And like I thought that was quite a weird little moment, and then no one really speaks about it much after. Obviously, like he was going to punish her a little bit later on in the film,
yeah,
and then that's kind of it really. And it's funny because obviously the main, the protagonist keeps saying that we can't kill him, and obviously Kat pretty much tries to kill him numerous occasions, you know, and obviously, even at the end, she does kill him. And I've never really understood that part because obviously, like, I thought we have to keep him alive. Like, no matter what, we have to keep him alive, but he dies. So it's just
have to
like,
keep them alive until they get the pieces. They have to have the
true.
pieces.
But I'm pretty sure though that she killed him before they actually completed the mission though, like just before, because obviously the protagonist, obviously he was in that little lift thing, and then obviously Sato is talking to him on the
Mm.
phone, and then as soon as he hangs up the phone, and obviously the protagonist has a fight with that henchman, and then Kat then obviously shoots him, and then one of the Tenet guys says that, oh, she shot him. She shot him. Like everyone's really
But I
shocked,
don't
and
think
and I was
maybe he
shocked.
was
I was
wounded.
like, oh damn.
I don't know if she shot and killed him immediately though. I think he just got shot. I don't know if he died.
Yeah, obviously obviously she shot him, and then obviously she dragged his body and then threw him off the yacht, which
Yep.
is which is another weird thing because obviously she puts sunscreen lotion on on the floor. There's a little scene there that she puts sunscreen lotion on the floor, and then he's like, "Oh, what are you doing?" And she's, "Oh, I spilt sunscreen lotion." And there's like a little couple lines of dialogue with that, which is quite baffling to me. And then he's like, "Oh," and she's, "I'm cleaning up," and then he was like, "Well, why? Who cares?" And she's, "Oh, it's slippery." And then obviously when she pushes him off, you can hear the like squelching sound effect that his body is, being slid off with the sunscreen lotion. And obviously he's got it on his back as well because she put it on his back before when she was massaging him. But I don't know, I just thought that was a bit strange.
Well, that's what it was for, to make easier to slide him off the boat. And
I guess. But I
she
just every time.
even undid the little wire gate, the little bottom tube, so she
Yeah,
could
she
do that
did.
part.
And
So,
like even that, I kind of thought it just sounded a little bit. I don't know. I guess it's a little bit too much. It felt a little bit too much. Like you could just shoot him and just be done with it. Do you really need to open up this? I need to put some sunscreen lotion on the
Yeah,
floor.
yeah.
It just sounds quite a complicated way to kill someone, and especially to kill someone who you're not really meant to kill. You know.
But what part of Tenet was not complicated, Luke? It all tracks. It all tracks.
Well, yeah, that's one way of saying it, isn't it? I mean that's the thing though. I mean, there's not a single scene. There's not a single scene that isn't complicated. Even the end, like even when the film ends, when everything is all tied up and the characters have completed the mission, Saita's dead. It's still, when Aaron Taylor Johnson's character,
Yeah.
I think his name's Ives. He pulls a gun on the protagonist at the end. It's like, what's going on here? Like, I thought these guys on the same side.
I I meant
You
to
know?
ask you about that because there was this thing about like, the more you know, you have to die. So
Yes,
it was,
yes.
and the protagonist, John David, was expecting him to kill him. Like he like, I know what this is. I've been an agent at some other place, we don't know where, but I've been an agent. I know how this works. And then when he didn't do it, he was surprised. So he's like, I'll find you guys. So my question to you is, does Ives know the who the protagonist is? Does he know who John David is?
I think so. I think so. I mean, and that's the thing, isn't it? The protagonist, he is the founder
Yeah.
of Tenet. He was the one who founded Tenet. I'm not gonna lie, I think that was a little bit predictable. I kind of had a feeling that he would turn out to be him who was the founder. I've had a feeling it's gonna kind of work like that. And obviously it did. Um, but there's just like a few little bits at the end, and then obviously he kills Priya. Obviously at the
Yeah.
end of the film, because obviously she wants to kill Kat because obviously she knows too much.
Now that I didn't
And
see coming. That I didn't see coming. Even though they kind of set it up when he gave her the cell phone, I still didn't see that coming. That surprised me in a good way.
which
But
also
what I'll ask
is
you is,
another issue.
mhm,
That's another issue of mine is the how do all the characters get to these places? Like they travel so much in the film. One minute they're in Oslo, then they're in India, then they're in Vietnam. You don't see them on the plane, and there's like there'll literally be a scene where the protagonist is talking with Neil, and he's like, "I need to go and speak to Priya," and the next scene he's with Priya in a different country. It's like, oh, how did we get here? You
uh,
know,
because we have connections. He has connections. We never know how we get these connections, like his meeting with Michael Caine, him and the information he learns and knows. Like we never really get outside of Priya and Michael Caine. Like he just has connections. Protagonist, I guess he's just so elite in whatever he is as an agent that he has developed connections that like I'm like he's given this mission with no directive. I don't know who he's reporting to. I don't know who's supplying him um money outside of no, I take that back. Michael Caine gave him a black card, I think.
mm, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
because
I
yeah.
know,
So,
but
but yeah,
he gave him the forged painting, a fake version of the
yeah,
painting,
yeah,
in the restaurant, and then
yeah,
obviously then he went to
yeah.
see Kat.
So and I think I remember him asking, "What's my budget?" And he says, "We'll square it up at the end," which means no budget. So, but still, to get around without your face being through TSA still requires connections, still requires private flights. And then we just see them riding around in that little truck, riding around in the boat. So we just see them travel a little bit here and there, but there's not as much. So I think they were just kind of cutting out a lot of the dead weight. But you're right, like some of these locations are a little further away than a hop, skip, and a jump.
I
So
mean, and of course, I feel like we have to talk about Robert Pattinson. I mean, we gotta talk about Neil. Like, I think I say he's the second best character
yes,
to me.
yes, that's exactly where I was going. I like Robert Pattinson has pleasantly surprised me in this.
Yeah,
Um,
same.
and I was just like, wow, like I just loved his embodiment of the character, the execution. Like you knew that there was something shifty, that he knew more than he was letting on as things progressed. and that little red, like the little red little
Hmm.
whatever callback. I loved all of it. He did such a great job.
He
I was
did,
like,
and he brought a little bit of humor
yes,
to an otherwise very, very
yes,
serious film.
yes,
So it was nice
yes,
to kind of have a little bit of humor,
yeah.
and and I'd say this. I think that the film, it felt almost like an audition for a the whole film felt like Christopher Nolan's audition for a James Bond film.
Mm, I would definitely give it him that.
I would say so. I mean, I've always, I'm a huge Bond fan, massive James Bond fan, and I have always wanted to see Christopher Nolan direct a Bond film. I've always wanted to see that. And Tenet, obviously it was a spy thriller and stuff,
Hmm.
and it felt a little bit James Bondy, a little bit, and it kind of felt like this is his kind of, his little audition,
Yeah.
to potentially direct a James Bond film in the future. And
I
potentially
would
like,
have been. I
and
would have been gave it to him. Me myself personally. Now I want to talk a little bit about John David Washington. Um, so we talked about how Kat and Neil are like our favorite characters, and it at times it felt like John David Washington was a spectator in his own in
yes,
the movie,
yeah,
and not
I agree.
um and I thought about it, and I was trying to see, because I haven't seen him in a lot of stuff.
No,
You know what I mean? Um, and I was wondering to myself, if we had to replace him with another actor, um, like, first of all, who would you want to pick? Because I was like, I wonder if that changes it for me. If it's him, or if it's the writing and how the movie is, because he was just given protagonist, general CIA guy, agent who can fight and knows things. Like, that's very generic. That's not a lot to go off of. But, so I said, okay, if it was John Boyega, how would that look? If it was Sterling K. Brown, how would that look? If it was Aldous Hodge, how would that look? Even
mm,
I I don't want to say his name because I screw it up all the time, but Chidawala ever Chidawala.
what? What was that?
Oh my God!
I have no idea even that is, or even who you're trying to pronounce.
No, I'm
I have
not.
no idea.
No, I'm not gonna say it anymore because I've already embarrassed myself enough. I'm not gonna say it. I will just text you who I was talking about later on, and you'll be like, "Oh, that's who you were talking about."
Jaimin Honsu,
No.
is that who you're saying? Oh, right.
No,
Um,
wait. What'd you say? What'd you say?
Jaimin Honsu,
No,
the guy. Oh, right. Hmm.
no,
Um,
man. I
but
really
yeah,
screwed
I
up.
mean,
Yeah.
but
Don't worry about it. Figure it out. Yeah.
but but in terms of John David, I mean, I like him. I mean, that was the first time that I've seen him in a film. That was the first time that I've seen him. I've seen him in other things since then, but
Mhm.
that was the first time I'd seen him in something, and I thought he did a good job with what he had to work with,
Yeah.
and he was good with the action sequences.
Yes. No,
He's
you did a good job with
he's a well built guy. I think he comes from a football background, I'm pretty sure. So, he knows how to handle himself.
it.
And but I wouldn't necessarily say that, like, I would, like, remove him and cast someone
Mhm.
else. I would just make the writing stronger for the character and just
Right.
give him more to do. That's what I would do. I wouldn't recast him because I thought he did a good job.
Mm-hmm.
But I would just try and tweak it a little bit and give him more of a personality.
Right. So Brandon movie uses. Sorry, I'm so late. How are you both doing today? We're
Yes,
good, Brandon. Thank you.
yes, Brandon.
We're talking Tenet. Um, so the reason why I said it like that is because I was trying to figure out. First of all, I'm with you. He did a good job. But I was trying to figure out, like, but sometimes it just felt like everyone else was outshining him, and I thought, is it because more was put into those characters than into his character.
Hmm.
Like I was saying, like it was so generic. His
And was
name was
it
generic.
intentional? That's the
Right,
thing.
right.
That's the thing.
Was it intentional because
And I think
protagonist,
it
he didn't even get a
was. I
real
think it
name.
was. I
So
really do.
yeah,
Brendan asked, was John David Washington the guy and the creator? Yes, he was.
yes, yes, yes. Which I think he did a great job in that. I
Yeah, he did.
so I'm definitely saying he's talented. I'm not saying he's not talented. I just, again, for this movie, how it was, I was like, I wonder if he was dialed back on purpose, like you said. If it was the writing, and if it was John Boyega or Sterling K. Brown, would it be the same outcome because it's supposed to be dialed back? You know what I mean? So that was um, that's where I was wondering. Um, Brandon says he is very good in sci-fi. Yes, 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 yes. So I want to say something funny that at the 139 at the hour 39-minute mark, because this movie's like 2.5 hours long. Um, they had asked the protagonist, "Does your head hurt yet?" And I felt like they were really asking the audience,
Yeah,
and I
I
answered,
agree with that.
"Yes, it does."
Yeah, I agree with that. 100%. I
I thought that
mean,
was cute. I'm like, oh, no one did that on purpose. That's cute. um, So, I had a question about
but I would
something.
say, I felt like that during the whole film, whereas like my head still hurts. And obviously it's definitely one of those rare films that,
Mhm.
you need to see multiple times
Multiple times.
to not only understand it, but to
Hmm.
also appreciate it. And like now, I can say quite confidently that I understand the film. I know what it's trying to do,
Hmm.
but even though I do understand it, and I understand the plot beats and stuff like that, the only thing, is that it is still just too unnecessarily complicated. It could have been simpler. It didn't need to be this complicated because the story is relatively simple. So that's always been my issue with it. It's just like I understand it. I don't think it's that difficult to understand as a
Hmm.
story, but the way that it is told makes it more complicated, which I think is unnecessary.
Yes. So, uh, going back to like the explosions, which again, he literally like crashed a actual plane, exploded an actual plane
Yes,
and it looks gorgeous. I'm sorry, it
it
looked
does.
amazing. Um, Costly but effective. Um, so when the protagonist John is he's inverted and he's in the car and the car is flipped over and the explosion happens and then gets sucked back in, and he wakes up and it turns out because he was inverted things are backwards, so instead of blowing up he was frozen and they had to
Yes,
heal him of hypothermia.
hypothermia.
uh,
Yeah.
and uh, A, how do you feel about that? And B, would you rather freeze to death or burn to death? Go ahead.
Uh, I mean, in answer to the first question, how do I feel about it? It's another scene that feels very rushed because once again, as soon as he's in the car crash, we see the ice. It freezes up the screen, the windscreen, and then it cuts to the next scene. He's pretty much healed and he's fine. He's back up again. It's just like which goes back to what I was saying before about how these characters go from one country to another. It feels very rushed, and it's just like, and then they say, "Oh, you would have been the first person to ever die of hypothermia in a car crash or something like that." I can't remember what it
Hmm.
was. It's just like they're saying all these things, but it just feels very rushed,
Yeah.
and it's just and then that's it, and then he just gets up and then he does loads of action again. Um, so I don't really have much to say about that. But it's just another scene where it's just like, "Eh, that was weird, and then that's it, and that's it. But in the answer to your second question, would I rather die of hypothermia or in an explosion? I would say probably an explosion. I would say at least it should be quick, I suppose.
Um, Oddly enough, even though I live in a very hot humidity place, I would rather the frozen, because after a while, your functions shut down, and you don't even feel yourself as you're fading. Versus burning to death, I'm feeling everything.
True, that is
So,
true. Yeah, I just associated like hypothermia with it being something that it's going to be quite a slow death. That's kind of why I thought like I don't really want to go in a very slow way. I'd rather be
I
quite
understand.
quick. But yeah,
Yeah, one you're cooking and one you're a popsicle, so it's kind of not sure, but
how would you feel? Because I've seen there was like rumors, like obviously after the film released, there hasn't really been much talk of it anymore. But there was rumors of a sequel. That there was plans, like there's some ideas,
well, that was actually a
potentially.
question that I was going to ask you. But
All
which
right.
is funny. So, as far as the sequel goes, uh, I would be open to a sequel. Uh, I don't know how much more I need from a sequel, though. If
That's the
that
thing,
helps.
and I would
Right.
probably say the same, to be honest. I mean, but I would probably lean more to saying no. I don't really feel that we can do much else with
Yeah.
this. I feel like we've done the story. We've completed it in a way. I guess there is more to explore. Like obviously, you know, he obviously he created Tenet, so there could be like a prequel or something set in the future. Like we could have a more futuristic setting, you know, um, where obviously all of these events have all passed on, and now we're living in the future, and it's a different kind of threat, something like that. So I think there's room for a sequel, and there's some
I
ideas
mean,
here.
he hasn't done a sequel, and I don't count The Dark Knight because that's under superhero stuff. I don't
Hmm.
think he's ever done a sequel. I think,
No, he hasn't.
and I think that he probably wouldn't be open to one, and I don't
and
blame him.
especially and especially not to this film because it is quite a divisive film. Like out of all of his films, I would say this is probably the most divisive film, and I would say that there is a lot of people who do not like this film. So I don't know whether or not Nolan would, out of all the films he's done, I don't think he would do a Tenet too.
Mm, no, you know what? I don't think I want him to do a Tenet too. I think I'm pretty happy with what we got from this, and it was already so innovative and so fresh with certain things that they did that they've done before.
Hmm.
That'd be
Yeah,
hard
yeah.
to top it, and it would just be feel like a retread, and I don't need it. I don't need it actually. So, um,
I would rather see a uh, uh, Tenet. I'd rather see a James Bond Nolan film.
oh,
That's what I
oh yes,
want to see.
yes. Let's start that petition going.
I want to
Hashtag
see that.
Roman James Bond.
I don't know if it will. But and then there was a recent thing that one there was a recent rumor of him doing a horror film like that. I would like to see that. Christopher
Ooh,
Nolan. Apparently, he said in an interview, I think after Oppenheimer, he kind of said they'd always wanted to do a horror film, and there was
ooh.
like, a lot of talk about that, and then we haven't really heard any more about that. Like, I would like to see him
I
do a
would
horror
also
film.
like to see
Very,
that.
because obviously he's never done anything like that before, so that's very interesting to
I
see this
yeah,
world-class Oscar-winning director, who is so popular to do something completely different. I would like to see that.
me too. Me too. Well, that is it for our talk on Tenet. Thank you very much for coming
Always,
and having
thank
this
you.
talk with me.
It's been good,
Any fi-
always.
any final thoughts you want
I would say that, I think I would definitely like if people haven't seen, because I know quite a few people who actually haven't seen it,
to?
even to this day. Like I know people who haven't seen it. So I would say definitely see it. I think it
Yeah,
is a must watch.
yeah,
I think it's a must watch
yeah,
because there isn't like you can criticize the film for the thin writing and the underdevelopment of characters, but I think it's a must watch experience because there is nothing quite like it.
no,
You've never seen anything like that. I think it's so unique and so well crafted on a visual spectacle and the practical side of things and how they did that stuff and even how I mean, I'd say that the first thing when I came out of the cinema after seeing it, I would say that all I kept thinking to myself was like, you know, just the thought process of Nolan creating this
yeah,
film
yes,
deserves a standing ovation, and then I
yes,
think the execution of making the film also deserves a second standing ovation.
yeah.
So I think it is an extraordinary film, not without its flaws, but a must watch nonetheless.
I agree. And guys, be sure to follow Luke at Luke Rhoda. What?
One, yeah, that's correct. Yeah,
Nice.
lovely.
Nice, nice. He writes reviews. He has fun. He pisses off people, but they will get over it because everyone gets to have their own
Yes,
opinion. That's what media and art is for.
well said. Preach it.
You're welcome. And be sure to check out my stuff. The Zombie Chronicles is on Tubi and Amazon Prime now, so you guys can check it out. They're
Nice,
my series that I
nice.
wrote, filmed. And I'm working on some other things. Oh, for September, I'm off from the Hot Take Tuesday on September. I'm
For the
coming
whole
back in
month.
October.
The whole
Yeah, for the
month.
whole
Oh,
month.
oh,
The whole
wow.
month. I'm doing a bunch of other stuff. I'm just like, eh. So for October, I'll be back, and I'll be looking for people to interview and talk with. So if you guys are interested in talking about a movie with me, be sure to hit me up in the DMs.
Nice.
All right.
Well, if I hope you have a good, I hope you have a good whole month off then,
Yes,
and I hope you do everything that you want to do with all your film stuff,
thank
and I
you.
look forward to seeing you
I'll still be
in
around.
October.
I'll still be around. I'll still be posting and commenting. So I'll still be around. I'll still be around.
That's good. That's good.
All right. Thank you. And thank you guys for coming on. I appreciate you guys, and I will see you soon.
See you
All
soon.
right.
See you later. Thank you for having me.
Bye. Thank you. Thank you for coming on.
No worries. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.